Just when you thought wearing a red hat had been ruined forever, Carmen Sandiego's been rebooted on Netflix. And yeah, I hear you. Another reboot? What can I say, kids? I just review these things. I'm not writing them. And the real question is, does this reimagining of the iconic international woman of mystery and thievery deliver? What's up, guys? For Nerdwire, I'm Kris Carr, and this is Nerdflix and Chill, giving you a taste before you binge.
Oh, yeah.
As always, I will be warning you of any big spoilers along the way, so keep your eyes and ears open for when I'm about to drop some knowledge. While I missed out on playing the original computer game because I didn't exist yet, as a 90s kid, I was a die-hard fan of PBS's Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego game show. The geography-based games, what a boss the chief was. Heck, I apparently didn't even mind rockapella being thrown to at the end of each episode like they were the Roots closing out Fallon. That's right, a game show with its own house band. Side quest, I kid you not, I think about rockapella every goddamn day. In addition to the Carmen Sandiego theme song, they did a jingle for Folgers that I can't not sing every time I see a tub of that coffee. I have forgotten so much math, you guys. I know every single word to that haunting earworm acapella bop about caffeine. Best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. Hashtag not a sponsor. For the purposes of this review, I'm going to walk you through the two-parter that kicks off the series, Becoming Carmen Sandiego. These episodes serve as our CD origin story and kick off how the rest of the series plays out. Gotta know the rules before you can play the game, and Carmen Sandiego sets us up with knowing where the players stand before we really get to globetrotting. I'd argue telling you the premise of the show isn't a spoiler, but if you disagree, here's your warning for the first two episodes. While the original game show may have been about teaching us all geography, stopping a criminal mastermind, and working in sweet rockapella doo-wops, this Sandiego is a plot-driven thriller with its titular character taking on a more Robin Hood mantle, only stealing from supervillains of the super shady Vile organization. In Netflix's reimagining, Carmen is adopted by Vile after being found abandoned as a baby outside of Buenos Aires. Vile has an island-based school of thieves where Carmen was raised, completely cut off from the outside world. She was brought up by a slew of teachers who gave Sandiego her set of super spy skills. We're led to believe it's all about the goods.
Vile Training Academy for Thieves. VILE. Valuable imports, lavish exports. Now hear the true name of Vile. Villains International League of Evil.
I mean, come on. The acronym is VILE. It's like how Hydra couldn't possibly be anything warm and fuzzy. Young Carmen, known back then as Black Sheep, yearns to officially join the academy and graduate so she can enjoy the life of a thief off the Isle of Vile. But before her enrollment, a phone she stole off some Vile lackey buzzes. The caller ID? A white hat.
Better beef up your security.
Black Sheep engages with this white hat hacker who refers to himself by the handle player and explains what white hat hacking is. Using your hacking skills for good, which, whoa, what a concept for a girl raised by villains. Connecting with the outside world pushes Black Sheep to ask for her enrollment in the academy, despite her young age. The vast majority of the teachers agree to bring her in. Everyone, that is, except for Shadow-san. Black Sheep is made one of the 40 thieves selected for the academy that year. Carmen doesn't make the cut for being a spy thanks to instructor Shadow-san not giving her a fair shake at her exam. So our little old Black Sheep decides to crash her classmate's caper anyway, proving herself as a thief and potentially running away from Vile. I mean, is there really honor amongst thieves? Does she need a pickpocket degree to actually go explore the world and yoink stuff? Nah. Once out in the real world though, specifically Morocco, Carmen realizes that they'd been stealing from hardworking people, like this kind man leading an excavation. What's worse is that her classmates have been taught to not leave witnesses. Mortified that her BFF Gray, aka Crackle, would harm someone in the name of a heist, Black Sheep steps in. She asks why Gray is doing this, but gets chloroformed first and taken back to the island. This event, though, was enough to change Carmen's entire worldview.
My entire upbringing was a lie. Stealing isn't a game. It does harm people, especially when you're willing to steal lives.
Cut off from her former Vile classmates and player, Carmen works up a new escape plan. Carmen gets her old stolen phone back and loops player into where she actually is and what she actually has been training to become. Carmen steals a hard drive that Vile's bookkeeper, Cookie Booker, played by living legend Rita Moreno, brings each year to upload Vile's criminal records and income. Black Sheep dons Cookie's coat and hat, that signature red number that's become so iconic and tied to the character, sneaks off campus, and steals a boat to leave the island. And that outfit is more than just a hot little number. The label gives our girl her new identity.
You do have a name, don't you?
It's Carmen. Carmen Sandiego.
The story is very reminiscent of other nature versus nurture stories about good and evil. The one that comes to mind in recent viewing is She-Ra and the Evil Horde. Much like Ghidorah, when Carmen is faced with the actual consequences of her allies' actions, she begins to work against Vile.
What if, for whatever reason, Carmen Sandiego were a thief who only steals from other thieves?
This whole backstory is a little clunky. I mean, the flashbacks and storytelling themselves are done really well. It's just who Carmen is telling the story to that doesn't seem right. Why are you telling your ex-classmate and BFF about what happened at school? He was there. He even says, I was there. It just seems like he's an odd window character to use here. Explaining this to some Interpol agent would have seemed better suited. I understand Gray being the one to offer a truce with Vile, so the end of the tale does pay off, but it still feels weird to explain their shared backstory. This is my only real gripe with this introduction to the series, and seriously, it's worth sitting through to get to the rest of the series. Everything else really works for me. While the emotional plot of the series is in the spotlight, we still have Carmen eagerly giving us global stats. Much like its PBS predecessor, Carmen Sandiego sets out to educate. We get our first real taste of this in episode 3 when Player and Carmen exchange Indonesian trivia.
Indonesia produces 70 million tons of rice a year. It's their staple food, Player.
It says here some islands are home to the Komodo dragon, the world's largest lizard. They can grow up to 10 feet long.
I'll skip the petting zoo.
Sure, that's a blatant data dump, and it does seem jarring at first, particularly for new viewers. But fans of the old school series will feel right at home getting geography and cultural lessons thrown into the mix. And truly, that educational slant was always the lifeblood of Carmen Sandiego. Making Carmen love global culture and having a deep desire to preserve cultural artifacts from the clutches of evil gives us a fully fleshed out leading lady. It also helps that Gina Rodriguez and Finn Wolfhard work to make these trivia exchanges conversational. Additionally, the animation style is stunning to look at. It's like 16's noir cousin. It's minimalistic and moody with rich colors, and I am obsessed with all the layered lighting and angle work. Even that minimalistic positive-negative space title card is incredible. It reminded me a lot of the covers for Tim Sale's Catwoman When in Rome art. But I'm getting off topic. Let's get back into the story for the rest of the season. Carmen adds to her team and works with brother-sister duo Zach and Ivy, who basically just seem like the South Boston counterpoints to the Weasley twins.
Whoa! Were you not informed that Operation Picnic à la Parisienne was canceled?
What? Ivy! You had one little job to do while I picked up Carmen at the train station. One! Rustle up big blocks of tangy cheese and those long, fresh-baked hoagie rolls.
Oh man, now I really want a what-if story where George and Fred grew up in Dorchester. Make it so, Internet! Acme agents Ivy and Zach originally led the search for Carmen on Fox's 1995 animated series Where on Earth is Carmen Sandiego for the series' 5-year run. Not to mention the retooling of Player was included in that show. In Where on Earth, the Player was a live-action character who we never fully saw, but was in communication with Carmen. It was implied that the series was a video game the Player was, playing, harkening back to the OG computer game. So their inclusion and reimagining in this new series is a real treat for fans of the franchise. Also, the 95 series had Rita Moreno voicing Carmen, and it gave us the evil Dr. Bellum and Gunnar Maelstrom, both of whom we get in this new series. So if this was your Carmen, you get a few treats like that from Netflix. Now, for some real spoilers. Carmen also suffers a real loss in this series. We know that she was very close to Gray from Vile Academy, so much so that she refers to him as the brother she never had. When Gray fails to stop Carmen early on in the series, Vile decides to wipe his memory clean of all Vile events so he can't expose the organization. Carmen runs into him in Sydney, and he feels an instant connection towards her, despite not remembering who she was. Carmen makes the tough decision to not re-enter his life. The only thing here is it felt like Gray was into Carmen. I'm not sure she needs Gray to become a romantic factor in her life. I prefer her losing someone who she treasures as a friend, who she views as family. That's big for someone who doesn't have a lot of solid leads on their parents and past. The biggest reveal is that Shadow-san is the Vile instructor who found Carmen and brought her back to the island.
As strange as it may seem, even someone like me is incapable of turning his back on an abandoned baby.
Shadow-san couldn't stand the thought of Carmen being forced to choose the path of evil, and knew the others would do unspeakable things to her should she turn down a life of crime. So, he tried to flunk her, and when that didn't work, actually helped her with her big escape from Vile Island unbeknownst to our heroine. What a guy. And of course, before we can learn more from him, he ninja poofs out of there.
Let me guess. Ninja Disappearing Act?
Something like that.
So, tune in or tune out. I'd say this is a reboot that actually hits the right mix of nostalgia and series improvement. There's a lot to enjoy here, whether you grew up with the show or are new to the franchise. And I think this is a pretty sophisticated update anyone can enjoy, especially if you love learning. Or if you love this bee.
You can call me Chief.
Yes! Hell yes! Acme Agency in the mix! Making Carmen a character with complicated motives isn't anything new. She definitely was morally gray in the Where on Earth series. That being said, in the Netflix series, we get someone who not only wants to right wrongs, steal from the shady, and have a fun time while doing it, we get a girl who wants to know about her own personal history. We've always wondered where Carmen was. With these 9 episodes, we're finally learning more about who she is. And it looks like if you're worried about investing in a new series or any of those big cliffhangers like will Gray be back or why was Shadow Sun in Argentina 20 years ago, don't worry. Gina Rodriguez has confirmed that season 2 of Carmen Sandiego is already complete. And she's set to play Little Red Riding Hood in a live-action film. So you'll be getting plenty of Carmen in the future. Plus, she just got a new Vile hard drive from Shadow Sun. Obviously, there are way more capers to be had, and I am here for them. But hey, that's just one gal's opinion. Go down below and let me know if you're gonna binge or bail on Netflix's Carmen Sandiego. For more videos, you can click to the left of my face or check us out on Roku and Plex. Thanks for watching, guys. And as always, remember, all things in moderation, except for your shows.